Hey, we're live on the air. Well, sort of, the airwaves. Hi, welcome to episode 12 of Bit Gringos. My name's Patrick, and this...
Mike Schwartz.
Mike Schwartz.
Patrick, how are you doing? So good to see you.
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm a little...
You hang out at the beach more than any person I know.
I know, isn't it amazing? Yeah. Yeah, you would be kind of glum and depressed if you saw my actual background. So, I use this to kind of, cheer up life a little.
Yeah, cheer it up.
Yeah. Well, how's this past week been for you?
Well, I realized in this past week that I don't know how many weeks we've been in this quarantine, but it's been months.
Months and months.
I just realized that the pounds that you add on during the quarantine, those are real pounds. Those are going to stay with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not like quarantine pounds that are going to like melt away.
Yeah.
Those are real. So,
not like a summer romance that ends in.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I've realized the scale has told me that your ass is getting fatter. And you better stop listening to Patrick's chocolate cake recipes because it's not helping you at all.
But they are delicious.
They are delicious, yeah.
Well,
what about you this last week? You have big changes.
Yeah, it came up at the last minute. We had plans to go back to the United States in July 4th, in fact. And then after we had booked our flights, the government here in Panama decided not to reopen the border when they said they were going to. And also a flight came up all of a sudden, a repatriation flight or humanitarian flight or whatever they call them. And we decided to jump on it. And we changed our other tickets so that we fly Thursday to Fort Lauderdale, and then right after that, we fly to Los Angeles. So this will be my last broadcast from Panama. However, we will continue 2-Bit Gringos because I'm still a gringo no matter where.
It takes more than a pandemic to, stop 2-Bit Gringos.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. No, sir. So that's, and it's a little stress making, we're trying to wrap up loose ends, and a lot of people want to drop by the house to say, hey, one more time and stuff, which is cool. Feel free to drop by. We'll squeeze you in somehow. But that's what's going on. We're flying into the teeth of the dragon.
All right. So this week we have some interesting people.
We do.
2-Bit Gringos.
We have
some newcomers to Boquete. We always have been talking with the people that we know and either have performed with or done shows with or some connection with. And this time an interesting phenomenon, I think. People who came here very recently and boom, there was this pandemic. So it's a good idea to get their perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll bring in our first guest. She moved here shortly before from I think Panama City, but we'll find out. Shortly before the clamp down. Her name is Claire. She's a performer. She's an actor. She's a writer. She's an author. And did I admit her? Yes, she's joining. Okay. Depending on where you are, dear audience, here in Boquete, the internet is faster or slower, and things happen at different paces, depending on the neighborhood you're in. And obviously, Claire is in the slow neighborhood. She is rejoining the show.
That also changes all the time. So
it's here. It says joining. You get the little box there.
Joining. Okay.
Oh, here we go. Claire. There she is.
There she is. Hello, Claire.
Claire.
Come out of the darkness, Claire.
Claire. There you are, Claire. Hi.
Hi, Claire.
How are you?
Okay. Ah, there's that shining smile. Hey, lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
On your Zoom title is Claire CM Hazel. Is that your stage?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Or professional name? Or witness protection name?
My stage name is actually Claire Hazel.
Okay.
My pen name is CM Hazel.
Ah, excellent. Okay. Well, Claire.
Do you have any other names we should know about? Or
I do. Many others.
Many others.
Actually, my birth name is Claritza, but I wanted to choose something that was more commercial for my artistic name, so I picked Claire, which is the name that I was called as a nickname by many people.
Oh.
So I chose it a long time ago.
Okay, great. Claire, where are you from?
I am originally from Venezuela. I was born in Maracaibo, Venezuela, and I moved to the States, to the state of Florida when I was about 10 or 11 years old.
Aha. Okay. And why did you move to Panama?
Why did I move to Panama?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want the real story or the make-believe one?
I want the most entertaining story.
It's usually a mix. It's usually a mixture of the two things.
Okay, good.
Well, truth be told, I was working and making a hard living in Venezuela. I was living there for about 3 years when I got called for a job here in Panama, which ended up not working out. But I came here for work to the city at first in 2011.
Okay. And
so that's the real story.
That's a real story. That's why it's boring, and it's about work and being laid off work.
The fun version of that.
The fun version would be I got called in to do a casting, and the casting agent decided that I wasn't sparkly enough. So I had to work on my sparkles.
wow. It's you not sparkly enough?
Yep.
You're like
too serious on the job all the time.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. I think of you and your sparkliness. I think of a bottle of champagne that's been put into a paint shaker.
That's an example. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it in my book.
Okay, good. Okay, so then you came to Boquete shortly before the clampdown, before the COVID, before the lockdown, right?
Yes, I lived here for about 10 months in 2016, and I was sort of doing my thing, collecting myself and trying to figure out what life was about, going through a rough patch in a way. And then I came back this year in March, just before the COVID, and started working on a series of workshops that I was going to do here at La Jungla. And obviously, everything went collapsing on all of us, and it's on pause at the moment.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that's.
It's hard for me to imagine moving here just before the pandemic. It must be. I mean, you know, life is normal, and then all of a sudden, just everything changed. I mean, I play in a band here in Boquete, and we had a gig. I remember. I think it was the Saturday, I think it was the 16th of March, or I don't remember the date, but everything happened like 2 days before that. Like the whole thing was canceled, and all the prohibitions started, the whole quarantine started, and but we've been here for years. I've been here for a few years, so I can't imagine what you and Michael have gone through just arriving shortly before that, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, Boquete is kind of the same as when I left it. In a sense, it's changed a lot. Like there are new businesses, there's new people. Definitely for me, I'm more involved in the community now, which is what I wanted to do. So I've met a lot of people who've been here a long time, as well as new people. There's a sense of progress, but at the same time, there's this quaint quality that Boquete has that I still value, you know, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to stay for, you know, I had planned on doing my workshops and getting business going and then being back and forth from the city. But there's something about Boquete that attracts me physically and mentally. And I think I'm going to develop a lot of things here. I really like it here. Really, really like it.
Oh, great. Well,
Excellent.
we love it here too, but we don't encourage newcomers. I don't
He
encourage
doesn't.
newcomers because they don't understand how big some of the insects are here, you know? So
I know.
I try to discourage newcomers, especially gringos, from arriving because of the size of the insects. And everybody else can say, oh, it's great, the mountains, the fresh air, everything, but I'm like focused on the insects, you know? Like you're
Yeah.
gonna see some insects the size of small automobiles,
Yeah.
you know? So
I like them.
prepare.
I'm one of those weird people that likes insects
All right.
and respects nature. I really respect nature, and we have to, you know, we live in an area that they're more prominent than we are, so we have to respect their space too.
Well, there
Yeah,
you go.
well, it's
See?
their world, really.
You're clearly not a New Yorker, Claire.
I could live in New York. I could live in New York. I love New York.
Saying that because I'm from New York. And,
You are?
yeah, and I don't know any. I remember once going on a hike here in Boquete, and somebody was going, "Hey, what's that bird? What's that bird?" And I was like, "Hey, if it's not a pigeon, I don't know what it is. You know, it's got colors. Things. Pigeons are like gray. You know,
They're all-
it's got colors. I don't know."
They're not all pigeons, Michael. There's varieties.
Well,
Yeah, for years he had
I know.
a pigeon. He didn't know how that happened, but
we know about rats and pigeons. That's about it. That's the animal life in New York.
Living in the city. I know. I love New York, actually. I've been there many times.
Oh, great. I love it too.
well, you know what, Claire? One of the things you bring into Boquete is performance and art and
Yes.
theater. And you know, this lockdown's not going to last forever, and there will be theater again in Boquete. In fact, I have it on good authority. There will be theater again
Absolutely.
in Boquete, and you're going to be a great, fabulous addition to the whole
Thank
thing
you.
here.
It is within my plans. That's one of the things you have to take into account here. The car is loud.
We are both heavily involved, I would say, with the theater projects here in Boquete.
See.
And,
Yes, I'm
we hope in the
actually
future-
involved with a lot of them, and hopefully trying to create something that is theatrical as a production. I'm looking forward to wearing the producer's hat, and as well as the director's hat, which I
Great.
haven't before. So
Ooh, great. We
yeah.
got a gig for you.
we'll go
All right,
we'll go that
why
route
don't
too.
why don't we bring our other guests in?
Yeah,
we do
let's
that?
do that.
Yeah.
Our next guest
More the merrier.
is
The more the merrier.
Michael Halpern, and he hails from who knows where, because he won't tell us anything
Who
yet.
knows? We'll find out.
But here he comes. There he is. Hi, Michael.
Hey,
Welcome
good to see you.
Bit
Michael.
Gringos.
Hello. Hi, Claire.
Hello.
How are you? Good to meet you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
here.
Thanks for coming on. So, Michael, where are you from?
I'm from Southern California. Grew up in
Hey,
Phoenix, Arizona.
Caller.
Grew up in Phoenix, but I've lived in Los Angeles and Orange County, Newport Beach area for many years.
Down behind the orange curtain.
Yeah, you got it. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be in Los Angeles Thursday.
Really? How are you
Yeah.
getting out? Oh, the humanitarian flight?
Yeah, we got one of those going on. And trust me, we wouldn't be going if we didn't have to. We got a few issues we have to deal with, and it's just a gotta do thing. But we'll be heading the opposite direction once we get there from Irvine up into the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So, Michael, you're from Southern California,
Yes.
and what did you do there?
I was a nonprofit executive. I ran nonprofit organizations and did fundraising.
Hey, that
So
sounds
my-
cool.
Pretty much 40 years of raising money for nonprofits.
Sounds very philanthropic.
Yeah, that was.
All right.
Yeah. And was with arts organization. Then I had my own consulting company. So I did raise money for arts organizations and universities and hospitals and, you know, the whole gamut.
All right. Yeah, as you, I'm sure, know by now, there are a variety of opportunities to apply your special skills here through a lot of charitable organizations.
I see that. It's very interesting. Yes. I just hiked by dog camp the other day and was talking to them. That's thought I was in the middle of no place, and I hear all these dogs, and then, whoa, this is dog camp. I'll be darned.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. So I was talking to them. They have a place where you can do PayPal and give money. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Probably one of the few places in the world that has a camp for dogs. You know, I mean, you know, the States has a lot of summer camps for kids, but here we have camp for dogs.
That's right. And the water ski program and the pool was really great.
Yeah. It's hard for them to do the arts and crafts. But,
right.
What happened?
Claire disappeared. So why did you come here?
Well, it was time to retire, and I was looking for a place. My story is pretty much the same as many of the others that I hear. I was looking for an inexpensive place to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Started doing research, and I went and visited different places in the States, Colorado Springs, Austin, a few others where I had friends.
Yeah.
And okay, but I was also looking for an adventure and a smaller community. So when I started doing the research, and everywhere I looked, Money Magazine, International Living, Forbes Magazine, Panama,
Yeah.
Portugal, Panama, Portugal. Well, Portugal was too far because I have two boys, 19 and 27, and still in the Los Angeles area.
Okay.
And Portugal was too far, but this was pretty good. So I took that tour that Jackie runs, the Panama relocation tour, came down here November 1st of last year, and took the tour, ran around, and went to all the beach communities. I thought, well, living on the beach would be cool, but it wasn't cool. It was hot and humid, which I can't stand growing up in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, but then we came to Boquete, and I said, this is the place. I love the weather. I love the small community, and a lot of things I liked, like community theater, which I was involved in, the live music scene,
Excellent.
karaoke, all those things that I came for are no longer in existence, but they'll come back. They'll come back.
What did you do with community theater? Did you direct, act, produce?
Act. Yeah, I have a background in that.
Excellent. We need more actors here.
Wow.
Yeah. So so I was looking forward to seeing Blythe Spirit, but I guess that'll get on the boards again after things cool down.
Blythe Spirit is going to happen, and it is going to happen once they allow people to congregate again.
Right. I felt so bad for all those actors, and who learned their lines and went through all that. I didn't know any of them, but I just heard about it, and I know what goes into putting something like that on. So then all of a sudden, just before they're ready to go on stage, thing gets shut down. So that's
I know.
tough. Yeah.
So, Michael, obviously nobody told you about the size of the insects here. Because I think, Jackie Lang, she does a great tour, but I think I provide a service too, a very needed service of warning people of the size of the insects. Because frankly, I don't want a lot of newcomers coming to look at things.
It's funny you should say that, Mike.
We're happy to have you.
Thank
Claire,
you.
Wherever Claire is. I don't know what happened to Claire.
Claire, she seems to have taken a powder. Maybe there was
something must have been something I said.
Yeah,
but,
probably.
It's funny you should mention that, Mike, because while I was in the green room, I was going online for Do It Center to see if I could find a fly zapper. They happen to be currently out. I was looking on Amazon, but I didn't want to have it shipped here, so I thought they must have something locally. But anyway, the insects, flies in particular, are.
Yeah, it's fly season right now. They're pretty voracious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll get better. You got bug season. That's the June bugs when they fly into your house to commit suicide.
They're cute. Yeah, you see a lot of them collecting.
Well, up here in the mountains, we have a lot of scorpions and big ones. Pretty big scorpions.
I've only seen about 4 or 5.
And they only come in the house. Well, this is what they tell you. They'll only come in the house during the dry season because apparently they're looking for water. And even if you leave like a cup of water outside with a sign, free water, you know, they still seem to come in the house. And then you say, okay, well, now it's rainy season, but still, every once in a while, one wanders into the house, and you're like, don't you know it's rainy season? What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here now, you know?
What's the matter with those guys?
The insects are real. Somebody's probably going to write in, scorpions aren't insects. I don't know what they are. I'm not a biologist, you know. But to me,
I believe they're a member of the arachnid family, but I could be wrong.
Okay, Professor Patrick.
But I think that's still an insect. That is still an insect.
I don't know what it is. It's
It's not a bird. It's not a plane.
We have
it's not a
scorpions.
pigeon, as we say in New York, because that's the only bird we know of.
It's a pigeon. Yes, we have
goldbird.
scorpions, but they won't kill you. They're not the deadly kind, mostly. For the
Oh, thank goodness.
okay, good.
Yeah.
The fertile ant snakes, yeah, those will kill you, and the coral snakes, those will kill you.
Yeah, I've seen one of those.
Yeah. Michael, I got a question for you, and if Claire comes back, I'm going to ask her the same question.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear what she had to say.
What's the one thing, just pick one, that no one told you about that you had to discover on your own once you moved here? There was maybe a good surprise or not as good a surprise.
Well, the first thing was the wind. I got here in the middle of February.
Ooh,
and
windy season.
Non-stop wind. I had never experienced that till the rainy season started, basically.
What neighborhood are you in?
I was in Jaramillo Centro, so I was up above, about 500 feet up, you know, over.
Oh, yeah.
I was staying in a beautiful place overlooking the whole town, and it was so beautiful up there. But I've just moved down to another place right a couple blocks from town. It was used to be a B&B. I'm sure you've seen it, Casa Azul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's now my home, and that's where I am now.
All right. Yeah, that.
One of the things I didn't understand when I first got here, I did grow up in New York, and you have 4 seasons, you know, the 4 seasons. And when I came here, people were speaking about all these seasons, like windy season and fly season and rain. You know, there's like 17 different seasons they have here. You know, when you're a newcomer, you have to understand there's rainbow season. You know, there are all these parts of the year where, and some of them overlap. You know, so yeah, there's a lot to take in.
That's
the rainbows are great. The rainbows are beautiful.
Rainbows are great. Yeah.
Yeah. This Bajareki is fantastic.
Yeah.
Claire is saying the system kicked her off and she needs a password to join again. Except I don't have a password. I don't know.
It's not the same password?
You should be able to just click on the same link.
Yeah, it should be the same link. Just try clicking on that, Claire. Anyway, technical.
We are experiencing technical difficulty.
Yes. Yeah, you know, we have it. So it's true you moved here just before, you got here just before the clampdown?
3 weeks. 3 weeks. So I haven't discovered anything. I haven't really seen much at all. I went to listen to live music once with Mike and his wife and one night, and you know, got to go to the Tuesday market a couple times, and that's about it. That's all I know about Boquete.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm so looking forward to being able to, you know, get out and do things. I don't have a vehicle yet, but
those were the best 3 weeks in Boquete.
The greatest.
You should really cherish those weeks.
I do.
For the next 18 months, we're going to be in quarantine.
But you know, the other thing, while I was sitting up there, you know, up on the mountain, that I was living with a woman named Camille. It was her house, and she was complaining how quiet everything is. The nights are so quiet. And she said, I want the drums and I want the noise and I want the horns, you know. And I thought, Camille, Jesus, I came from all that. This is the greatest thing I've ever discovered, is this peace and quiet. It's beautiful.
It is. It is.
Yeah, so I love it.
One great thing that never happens here, almost never happens here, except last Sunday morning, you never have helicopters hovering over you here. You never see helicopters.
I saw one helicopter and one plane.
Yeah, except last Sunday morning, there was a helicopter in my neighborhood flying low. I think it was one of the ex-presidents coming to town, and woke me up Sunday morning. I thought, oh, am I back in Los Angeles? Wait a minute. There's a helicopter up there. It's all, oh, here she is. All right, she's back. Good, we got enough time, just enough time to ask her the same question. But yeah, the peace and quiet, I love that. It's, you know, it's just.
You know, I grew up very close to JFK Airport, the big airport, and I was on the landing pad. The planes would literally fly right over my house. And I remember growing up when visitors would come over going, how can you stand the noise? And by that time, we don't even hear the planes anymore. Yeah. That's probably why I can't hear anything anymore. But, you know, the planes were constantly landing right over my house. And, yeah, I appreciate the, you know, I look up in the sky, there's no planes, there's nothing, you know. It's like, what's going on? When you do hear something, Claire!
Claire, you're back. Yay. Hey, Claire. Hi. We have another question for you. I'm sure there's a little bit of a lag, you know, time lag there. Question for you, Claire. What's the one thing about Boquete, even now or the last time you came here, that no one told you about and you had to discover for yourself?
I don't think she's connected yet.
I can see it.
Claire, do you hear us?
Interrupt. I got disconnected by the system. The internet is kind of having issues right now, so I had to reconnect.
Okay.
I'm here.
Hi. Okay, so maybe you probably didn't hear my question then.
I did not.
Okay. Claire, what's the one thing that you had to learn about yourself when you got here that no one told you about Boquete? When you first came here, either this time or the last time, something you just had to find out on your own.
The first thing, well, something that I learned on my own that I have to find out about Boquete that no one told me about.
Yes.
Huh. Let's see.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, when I first came here, that first time I was on a road to discovery. So there's a lot of things that I found out about. I expected Boquete. Nobody had told me a lot about it. I had lived in the city for quite some time at the time, and then I moved to a small town, beach town near the city. And then after that, I came here. I expected Boquete to be even a smaller version of that town. And when I got here, I discovered that it had much more than I had expected. One of the first places I went to by chance was the theater. And I came on the spur of the moment. I just took my car on my own and drove from the city the entire day and night, afternoon and night. And I got here in the morning and I ended up at in front of the BCP, sitting on one of the tables on the river. And I got really emotional for various reasons. But it sort of reflected on what I was looking for, but at the same time, unexpected. Boquete was an unexpected, bustling town. It wasn't a hidden town in the middle of nowhere. There was a lot more life going on here than I had expected to begin with.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's a great thing to discover.
Yeah.
And that's an excellent point. I mean, we came looking at Boquete partly because we heard there was a theater here, but we did not expect the wide variety of nightlife, entertainment, art, live music, comedy, all kinds of just.
You're kidding? Any of that is really here?
Yes, it is.
I wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't, sadly.
There's a lot of that
here.
Come
back to normal, and they will come back to normal at some point.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Also because there's going to be such a desire by everyone to see music and theater and comedy and things like that.
Yeah.
And my hope is that all of us will be involved in some of those things where we are, or we have been in the future, and it's going to be great. So I'm very optimistic.
A regular Friday night in Boquete, Michael. Once you get up at Restaurant Row by the brewery and all, it's traffic jam. It takes a good 5-6 minutes to get through in your
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
now I can walk now.
It's one of those places I always say it's like Cheers.
Yeah.
It's definitely like that. Wherever you go, everybody knows who you are, and it's got a good quality to it. You gotta be careful,
absolutely.
though,
That's what I love
knows
about
who you
this
are.
town. And whether you're a gringo, Panamanian, we know people from both communities. So it's like, hey, hi, hola, ¿cómo estás? You know,
See?
it's a great feeling to be in a little town, especially like I said, I'm from New York City, where that rarely happens, you know, that you bump into people that you know if you're in Manhattan or something.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But here in Boquete, it just happens all the time. So it's great.
Love it.
It's a very
It's the
warm
greatest.
feeling.
I love that.
To bump into people.
One of my favorite things is walking downtown, because we don't have a car either. When I walk downtown, it should take 25, 30 minutes. But generally, on a regular day, it takes 45 minutes to an hour at least, because I got to stop and say hi to lots of people I know.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, we're about out of time, kids.
We're out of time.
I want to
Oh my
thank you
God.
guys. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Michael, for
You're
coming.
welcome. Thank you.
It's been
Pleasure.
great.
Thanks.
You guys stay safe and have a great week.
Stay
Thanks,
safe,
you too.
everybody.
All right, guys.
Take care.
All right.